Good morning. Welcome to our live B.Sc degree program meeting for 2021. Thank you for spending time with us today as we get ready for the start of the fall semester. My name is Rob Guthrie, and I'm joined today by several other members of the B.Sc team. Together, we have a brief presentation to share with you, and we will also be answering your written questions as well. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that the University of Guelph resides on the land of the Between the Lakes Treaty Number 3, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. This land is part of the Dish with One Spoon, a covenant between Indigenous nations to live peaceably on the territories of the Great Lake region. We recognize that this gathering place is home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging them reminds us of our responsibility to the land where we learn, live, and work. I would now like to pass the presentation over to Professor Dan Thomas, Associate Dean Academic for the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Just to introduce myself, I'm Professor Dan Thomas. I'm a professor in the Department of Chemistry, and that's within the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. There's working with me, I see there's a picture here of Professor Karen Gordon. Professor Gordon is the real Associate Dean Academic for the College of Engineering and Physical Science, but is just starting a sabbatical leave. And I'm here for the year to fill into her spot. Joining me also today is Professor Brian Husband, who is in the College of Biological Science and is the Associate Dean there, and he'll be speaking in just a few moments. These people are responsible for the academic programs for the undergraduates in their colleges, and most significantly for the Bachelor of Science degree program. Now, the Bachelor of Science program is one of the largest degree programs here at the University of Guelph, and 5 colleges that you see written here contribute to the B.Sc program. Now, there are 7 subdivisions of the University of Guelph, and 5 of them are mentioned here contributing to the B.Sc. And so within the B.Sc program, there are a variety of majors that that you can be enrolled in. These are all the various majors, and you're currently enrolled in one of these. As you come to university, you start to create a new identity. There's a new place for you in your life. You've left high school. You've had a certain sense of who you were there, and now coming to university, you become you start to find a new place for yourself in the world. And one of those new identities is what kind of academics you are pursuing. You will be a major in one of these that are listed here. Whether it be in physical science or zoology or food science, you'll be a major in those. That will also make you a student within one of these colleges, whether it be the OAC or CBS, and you'll see yourself as a member of that college. You're also then a member of the B.Sc degree program. And these new identities start to define the kind of people you work with and the ideas that you'll be exposed to, and starts to give some expression to this new kind of life that you're embarking on. Here, life through university goes over mainly these 4 different years that you're going through. Here in first year, you're leaving high school, you're transitioning to a new kind of learning. You're used to an experience in high school where you've had a lot more direction from your teachers, and this starts to be a transition to more independent learning, where you have to realize that it's not about you being taught, it's about you learning. It's about your educational decisions and the responsibility that you are accepting for your education. You need to start to develop a network. You will find that we need to examine you as an individual, but you're going to learn as a group. And other students are key to helping you learn and you helping them to learn. And so developing this network of others to work with is key. In your second year, you start to get some depth into the field that you've started to study. Co-op might start to be figuring into your plans, and you start laying a foundation for where you're going to be as an academic and ultimately as a professional through the rest of your life. In your third year, starts to gain real depth and breadth of focus in the field that you've chosen to study. You'll start to understand more what it's going to be like to be a professional in the field that you've marked out for yourself. And some of the key final year activities, such as the fourth year research projects or summer assistantships and field courses, all of these start to gel and become more real activities. In your final year, there's a lot more independent study, capstone experience that kind of tie it all together and make your career your education, academic experience, all that it needs to be. Many of you will undertake leadership roles in campus, whether it be with students or in various administrative roles on curriculum committees and other things that you may be invited to participate in. And here's where you start to look beyond the university to where you're going to next in your career. If I could perhaps invite Professor Brian Husband to continue from here. Brian, please.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Husband from the College of Biological Science. Welcome to your first year in the B.Sc at Guelph. We're hoping this semester is going to be a kind of transition back to normal university life, and we're glad you're here and a part of that. As Dr. Thomas mentioned, in the first year, you have, I think, really two important goals outside of your classes themselves. The first is to make the transition from high school to university learning, and the second is to familiarize yourself with all of the resources on campus that are available to help you succeed. And this might seem like a kind of mundane set of goals, but they are critical for your success going forward. So academically, you may need to adjust your style of learning a little bit to develop strategies for learning at greater depth, to improve your communication skills, and you want to be doing that with increased independence. This doesn't mean you can't ask for help, exactly the opposite. It means knowing when to seek help and where to seek help and to take action on your own behalf. So that's what we mean by independent learning. So if you're struggling with your learning at some point, and we all do, here are some academic resources that you might want to take advantage of. I'll start by just saying in your courses, your first line of defense is always your instructors and your teaching assistants. So do not hesitate to reach out to them. They are human beings. They put their pants on one leg at a time, and just like you. And so feel free to approach them when you're having some difficulties. For additional support, especially in physical science courses, so mathematics, chemistry, and physics, there's the Science Commons, which is in the third floor of the library. For more general learning strategies like time management, note-taking, writing, and virtual learning, there's always the Learning Commons, which is on the first floor of the library. So these are great resources for you, and you should take advantage of them when you feel the need. The last that I wanted to mention is student accessibility services, which is there to support anybody with any kind of disability that they might require support for or particular accommodations for. And so I would suggest being aware and reaching out to that particular office. So you might think that you don't need help at this point, but just remember that there's no badge of honor for those who don't seek the help when they need it. There are so many resources available at the University of Guelph, and it's really up to you to take advantage of those to help you in your learning. So there are also a whole bunch of non-academic resources that you should be familiar with, and that's what this slide is designed to show. So for your physical and mental health needs, which are critical for succeeding academically, you should familiarize yourself with student wellness services. This unit contains a number of individual offices, such as student health services, counseling services, and what I mentioned already, student accessibility services, along with a bunch of other offices that can be valuable to your own physical and mental health needs. And I should also mention at this point the Office of Diversity and Human Rights, which is especially an important resource for anyone experiencing discrimination or isolation due to identity. It's a great place to learn the steps the university is taking to combat racism and discrimination, and to find resources for being a strong ally or inclusive leader on campus. Then there are a wide range of experiential learning opportunities to complement your classroom studies. That is support for finding and tracking these kinds of great opportunities, along with career planning, and all of that's available through the Experiential Learning Hub. And then lastly, student experience offers all manner of non-academic services or to link you with things like clubs and organizations, various events that are happening on campus, and programs that you might be interested in to round out your experience at Guelph. So please check out their website as well. So all of this may seem rather overwhelming because there are so many places to be aware of on campus. So I would just remind you that a great place to start is with your program counselors in the B.Sc Academic Counseling Center. This photograph here shows you the people who you really need to know about. You can see identified here Deanna Lundmark, Bonnie Lasby, Kelly Lucas, Rob Guthrie, and Cheryl Matsovic. And these are all program counselors in the Bachelor of Science. We also have Aaron and Wendy identified here that are also available in the Academic Counseling Center to support you and to get you set up with a counselor. So all of them can be reached through the B.Sc web at U of G email that's listed on this slide. They're all available to help you navigate your programs and to find the resources you need and get the most out of this experience at Guelph. So if you forget everything else that I've talked about in this little presentation, I would say the only thing to really remember is the importance of that advising office, because that can be a great place to go and find out what other resources are available to you. I should also add that in addition to the program counselors, we also have a faculty advisor, at least one associated with each major. And these are often professors who work in your major subject area, and they can be very useful and can provide valuable advice on specific information about courses or the intricacies of your particular major. They can provide information about post-graduation opportunities such as graduate studies and other career-related issues that you might be interested in. You can find the specific faculty advisors for your major by going to the website that's listed here. Lastly, I just wanted to remind you of how hard you've worked to get here. You've earned the privilege to learn and to develop your knowledge and skills further at a post-secondary institution and in preparation for a wide range of post-graduation possibilities. So I'm reminding you of that because I don't want you to take it for granted. Because with that privilege comes the responsibility to study with integrity and honesty. So from time to time through your program, you may feel under pressure and or stressed in some way, and that might tempt you to take a shortcut in your classes, perhaps to submit someone else's work as your own, or to violate the trust on which true learning depends. This ultimately limits your learning and disadvantages you and your fellow students. So this is an extremely important thing to pause and think about. Please take time to familiarize yourself with the academic integrity and misconduct policies at this university, starting with this tutorial that's listed on this slide, academicintegrity.uofguelph.ca. Become aware that the university takes dishonesty very seriously. The consequences of that can have a significant impact on your grades and on your ability to complete your program, and hence your ability to succeed after university. So don't take a chance. There are always other solutions when you're in a bind, starting with talking to an instructor or going to the Learning Commons or making an appointment with a program counselor. It's just not worth it. Okay, so with that said, I want to wish you all a great semester and an extra welcome to University of Guelph. And now I'm going to turn it over to one of your program counselors, which you've met already, and that's Rob Guthrie.
Well, hello again. This slide shows the sign over our office door in the Summerlee Science Complex, and we are very happy to announce that according to our current plans, we will be returning to the office face-to-face beginning on Tuesday, September 7th, albeit with very limited staffing levels, primarily for quick drop-in style questions. Of course, we will continue to be available with remote appointments through Microsoft Teams and may also be reached by email, online chat, or telephone. We do try our best to keep our B.Sc website up to date and relevant, so this is a particularly good place to start for many of your general questions. Our email address, once again, for all communication is bscweb@uoguelph.ca. That's bscweb@uoguelph.ca. It's especially important this year with remote learning still being available in some courses or some course components, that you please check your course outline, which is available in CourseLink at the beginning of the semester once courses get underway. The course outline or syllabus will contain extremely important information regarding how each specific course will function for the fall 21 semester. Another hugely important source of information is the WebAdvisor system, which all of you have already made use of and be familiar with, as this is what was used to register for your fall 21 courses. One important item is the My Academic Progress section. This is your degree audit that will be useful in helping to guide you through your B.Sc degree requirements. And this is just an illustration of a class schedule that's available in the student planning section. We'd like to remind all students to please be sure that your fall 21 class schedule remains conflict-free, as the course registration system will not prevent you from registering in courses that are in conflict. Also, the final exam schedule for the fall 21 semester has now been created. And please note that in order to view your schedule over multiple weeks, please view it in print mode by clicking the print button above your timetable. Otherwise, the final exam schedule will show all final exams compressed into a 1-week time period. And at this point, I would like to pass the presentation over to Bonnie Lasby, a B.Sc program counselor. Over to you, Bonnie.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome everyone to the B.Sc program. I just want to go over a few little facts that are very important to know. So this slide here shows some very important facts. So the last day to add courses to your timetable is the 7th class day, which this year is September 17th. So adding courses, changing sections in a course, so if there's a course with a seminar time that's more preferable, to change to a different seminar time is the same as adding a course. You cannot do it after September 17th. So just keep that in mind. If you drop a course and try to add a different section, you won't be able to do it. You're going to have to come to us for help. Now, the last day to drop courses is December 3rd, which is the last class day. So you have to keep in mind that if a course isn't going well and you want to drop it so it doesn't show up on your transcript, it's got to be done by 11:59 on December 3rd. To pass a course, you need to obtain a grade of 50% or higher in the course to get a passing grade. Now, some courses have other requirements that must be met in order to pass the course. For instance, passing the final exam or passing the lab component. So it's a good idea, as Rob mentioned before, to check the course outline on CourseLink, look at the grading scheme, and look at what's required to pass a course. So a grade of 50% or higher, and potentially other requirements as well. Last fact I'd like to go over right now is to graduate with the 4-year honors B.Sc degree, you need a minimum cumulative average of 60%. Okay, so the honors part means it's a 4-year degree and you have to have that minimum cumulative average of 60%. Now let's go from facts to some myths. So there are some myths floating out there. We're going to be mythbusters this morning. There is no policy about final exams in 3 final exams in 24 hours. There is nothing in the schedule that prevents you from registering for courses that have 3 exams in 24 hours or exams at the same time. Now that the exam schedule is posted, it's your responsibility if you change courses to make sure that you don't have an exam conflict. And if you have an exam schedule that is less than ideal because of an elective that you've added, then you need to consider changing that elective if that's going to make your exam schedule better. Second myth, you can retake a past course to upgrade your mark. Again, that's a myth. You cannot retake a course that you have passed. So a grade of 50% in a course is a passing grade. So no course with a grade of 50% or higher can be retaken until you graduate. Myth 3, if you retake a failed course, the new grade replaces the old grade. Again, incorrect. All completed courses show on a transcript whether those courses have been passed or not. Now, the last myth I'd like to touch on is that you can do extra assignments to get a passing grade. Again, incorrect. Look at the course outline. It tells you what is required grade-wise, and that's all that can be done, okay? You can't come back after you've failed a course and say, well, I want to do an extra assignment so I can get that last 2%. A grade of 48, if that was the grade that was earned, that was the grade that's earned. There's nothing you can do to pass the course other than to repeat it. I know that sounds a little bit cruel, but that's the rules at the university and we must abide by them. So a little bit of advice from us in the program counseling office. Please use your University of Guelph email account to communicate with anyone at the university. You get very important information from the university using your University of Guelph email account. Periodically, you need to ask us for help. So getting into courses, fixing schedules, all kinds of things like that. We cannot assist you unless you use your University of Guelph email account. So please set it up your phone or your tablet or whatever it is so that you receive those emails. Please don't be afraid to ask us for help. We may not be able to provide you with help, the help you're looking for, but we're a good place to start. If we can't give you the help we need, we'll point you in the right direction to get that help. We want you to establish that friend network here at university. University is more than just learning coursework. It's meeting friends and making a life for yourself. Friends are awesome, but please don't trust their academic advice because chances are they've just arrived here too and don't know any more than you do. So please start with us for academic advice, but turn to your friends for lots of other stuff. The next event that we'd like to bring to your attention is Meeting for Majors. So right now, anybody listening to this presentation is in a Bachelor of Science program, but we do have 27 majors within B.Sc. If you attend that Meeting for Majors on September the 7th, there's 2 different time slots, 10:30 and 11:30. They're staggered depending on the major you're in. Check the Guelph Life for more details. But we encourage you to attend the meetings for majors. You'll meet not only students in your major, so it'll help you set up that friend network, but you'll also meet faculty and staff that are important to that major. And at this point, I am going to turn over to Deanna Lundmark, one of the other program counselors in our office, and she's going to provide students who are interested in the vet program with more information on getting into the vet school. Deanna, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Good morning, everyone. Yes, the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program is certainly a very common goal for students that are in our B.Sc. So I am going to address some of the most common questions that we get from students that are just starting out on that journey. So question number 1, I think the biggest question that we do get is which major is the best one if I want to be a vet? Now, while it is true that many students who plan to apply to the DVM program down the road are going to be in an animal-related major, in the B.Sc, we've got animal biology, which is really popular, zoology, marine and freshwater, wildlife biology and conservation. These are all really great choices, but this is not a requirement. Some students who want to be vets, they just want to start studying animals as soon as they can, and that's awesome. But don't feel that you have to be in one of these or something like this. If you've chosen something else that you're interested in, that's awesome. All of the majors that we have in the B.Sc will give you access to the types of courses that you need to apply to DVM when the time comes. There really aren't that many prerequisites that OVC wants to see from you. They're really actually only going to be a very small part of what you're going to be taking with us in the coming years. So the real key here is to be in the major that is most interesting to you. And maybe that is animal biology, or maybe it's nutrition or genetics, biological science if you're looking for something with a lot of flexibility, or biomedical science is also very, very popular. There really are no wrong choices here. No major is going to make your application more competitive than any other. They do not give preference. They're not even looking, to be honest. But what they are looking at is your marks. Good grades are crucial. So that's why it's so important that you do need to be doing something that you love. That's going to lead to you doing your best. And I know at this point in time, there are some of you that are thinking, oh, but I don't know what I love. I haven't decided yet. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Everybody does pretty much the same stuff in first year, even a little bit into second. So in your travels, you are going to get to know what you like and maybe what not so much, and you can adjust. You're in the B.Sc, and that is perfect. That is all that you need at this point. Question number 2 is when? When can I apply for DVM? And you will be eligible to make your first application in semester 5. So that is halfway through your 3rd year. Can you wait to 4th year? For sure, absolutely. Or what about even after you graduate, coming back a year later? Absolutely. Just like there is no preference given for programs, there is no preference given for 3rd year versus 4th year, et cetera, et cetera. Some students want to finish their B.Sc, and we are very supportive of that in our program. Rightly so. Some want another year to improve their marks. Just apply when you're ready, when you feel that you're competitive enough to have a good chance of getting in. So whatever works best for you. Finally, another major question is, what do I need to get in? Big question for sure, and I am not going to go into the details of that right here, and I think my colleagues are probably going, who's thinking this? But I will say that there are a lot of things to know. And even though semester 5 at this point, I know it sounds like ages away, so long off from where we are right now, but it really is not too early to start doing that homework right now. OVC has a number of rules to go with their requirements. Please do familiarize yourself with their website. They have a great website called Become a Veterinarian. I will post that in the Q&A in a bit. It's got everything that you need to know on the academics, the non-academics, interviews, et cetera, et cetera. You do need to plan for DVM so that by the time that you do get to semester 5, you have done what they are needing you to have done in your first 2.5 years with us, or 3.5 years as the case may be. So anytime that you have any questions, again, as was mentioned earlier, do not hesitate to reach out at any point along the way. Again, there's a lot of rules, a lot of requirements to know, so make sure that you are asking the questions that you need to ask. Okay, I think that is it for me. So now I am going to turn it back over to Bonnie, who is going to chat with you a wee bit about first year physics.
Thank you, Deanna. So everyone has most likely chosen their courses for the fall, and I'm sure you've done a wonderful job and have a great semester. But I would like to talk a little bit about the first year physics courses, because we do have 2 first year physics courses for B.Sc students. And the reason we have 2 different ones is we know that not everyone comes into the B.Sc program having taken grade 12 or even grade 11 physics. So just to go over the requirements again, if you have not taken, if you do not have credit for grade 12 physics, then you need to take Physics 1300. If you do have grade 12 physics, then you need to do Physics 1080. So for students who have grade 12 physics, the sequence of courses is Physics 1080 and then Physics 1070. For those students who do not have grade 12 physics, the sequence of courses is Physics 1300 and Physics 1080. So everyone does Physics 1080. And then students do either Physics 1300 or Physics 1070. Don't worry about the numbers. They are not consecutive. It doesn't mean you have to do one before the other. The sequence as I have stated, without 12U physics, you do Physics 1300 and Physics 1080. With 12U physics, you do Physics 1080 and Physics 1070. It's very important to make sure that you are in the right course so that you have the ability to succeed. The other reason why you want to change into the right course now is physics is offered face-to-face. So you need to be in class to do that course. It's not, neither one of those courses are virtual for the fall. So because they are face-to-face, we have limited capacity in lecture rooms. So please make sure that you are in the right physics course. And if you are not in the right physics course, make that change now. If you need assistance, you can contact us at bscweb@uofguelph.ca. So that's all I want to say about physics at this point. I'm going to turn things over now back to Rob Guthrie. He's going to talk a little bit more about minors. So take it away, Rob.
Thank you, Bonnie. One of the very popular questions that we get in the B.Sc Academic Counseling Center relates to minors. And so I just want to take a quick moment or two just to provide some really general information. First of all, minors are completely optional at Guelph, so there is no requirement that any student ever complete a minor. However, we do have dozens of minors available. This includes minors in areas that are science-based, areas that are non-science-based. And in some cases, minors do work very well with certain majors. So if a minor is something that you are considering, we usually advise that you get in touch with us in the B.Sc Academic Counseling Center so that we can help you plan out your courses and provide some insight into how the minor is going to fit with your major. It can be a bit tricky, and there are some very specific rules that need to be followed. So if you're considering declaring a minor, by all means, reach out to us and we can help guide you with organizing courses and also provide you with the information that you need in order to officially declare the minor. So just to sum up, again, minors are not at all a requirement for the B.Sc degree, but the University of Guelph does offer a wide variety of minors that may be of interest to some students. That's about all I will have to say at this point. I think now I'm going to quickly pass things back to Bonnie Lasby to very quickly discuss co-op, and then we will at that point likely bring our presentation today to a close. So Bonnie, can I send it back to you, please?
For sure. Thanks, Rob. So some of you have applied for co-op and some of you are in co-op. You'll know that you're in a co-op major if you look at your program and it has the :C behind the program. So for instance, chem, if you're in chem co-op, it would say chem:(C. Biochem co-op would be bioc:(C). So that's great. For those of you that are in co-op, you do need to have a minimum of 4 credits by the end of first year, and you do need to maintain a 70 average by the end of first year. For those of you who applied to co-op but didn't get in out of high school or hadn't thought about co-op but are interested in the co-op program, then I would suggest that you contact our office in the fall semester and apply before the last class day of the fall semester. Everyone who is in the co-op program has to take a course called Co-op 1100, which teaches students how to write a resume, how to conduct themselves in an interview, and important things like that. When that course has to be taken is dependent upon the major. For some majors, that course is taken in semester 2, so some students have to apply by the end of semester 1. So if everyone who is interested in co-op applies before the end of the first semester, then no one will have met the deadline and be turned down because they didn't meet the deadline to apply. So that's why I encourage everyone to consider, who is interested in applying to co-op, to consider doing it now in semester 1 so that you meet those deadlines. If you have any questions about applying for co-op, please feel free to contact us, and you'll need a signature of a program counselor on the forms for co-op. So again, contact us at bscweb@uoguelph.ca. So I think we've covered everything that we need to cover for B.Sc students. Again, don't hesitate to contact us at bscweb@uoguelph.ca if you do have any questions. We will have a physical presence in our office starting September 7th. But we'll also be available online throughout the entire year. So please reach out and ask us for help. That's what we're there for. And I'd like to say on behalf of all of us in the B.Sc Counseling Office, as well as our Associate Dean Academics, Brian Husband, Sorry, Brian. Dan Thomas and Karen Gordon, who's on leave. Welcome to B.Sc. We look forward to meeting with you and connecting with you over your next 4 years. So on that note, goodbye, enjoy the rest of your summer, and hopefully we'll see you in the fall semester.